Okay, I think we are good. Can everyone see now? No?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, let's start then. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwarah. Guru Sakshat Param Brahma. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurave Sarvalokanam Vishaje Bhavaroginam Nidhaye Sarvavidhyanam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakotis Samaprabha Nirvighnem Guru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Gajananam Bhutaganadi Sevitam Kabittajam Bhupalasaravakshidam Umasudam Shokavinashakaranam Namami Vigneshwarapada Shuklambaradharam Vishnam Shachivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadhanam Dhyaye Sarvavighnopashantaye Vyasam Vasishtanaptaram Shaktaye Bhautramakalmasham Parasharatmajam Vande Shukadatam Taponidhim Vyasaya Vishnurupaya Vyasarupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahmanidhaye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudhirayet. So yesterday we saw how Vyasa was born, right? We had learnt about a king called Uparichara Vasu, and from that Vasu, through an Apsara in the form of a fish, two children were born, Satyavati and Matsya. And from Satyavati and Parashara, Rishi Parashara, Vyasa was born. Vyasa, what did Vyasa do?
He split the Vedas into the 4 Vedas.
Yeah. And whom did he teach those Vedas?
His disciples.
Names? Yeah, Rohika. Rohika Ritvik.
Yesterday you said that we didn't look.
Sorry, whom did he teach? Did you listen to what I was saying? My question was, whom did he teach? First, you need to listen, Rohika. Okay. Yeah, Siri.
He taught Vaishampayana.
Yeah.
And I think he taught Sutta.
Vaishampayana. Sutta heard it from Vaishampayana. He heard from Vaishampayana Mahabharata. So Vyasa taught his 4 disciples, okay, Jaimini, Pilala, Vaishampayana, and who else?
He also taught his son.
Sumantu and his son Shuka. Okay. Pilala learned Rigveda, Vaishampayana Yajurveda, Jaimini Samaveda, and Sumantu Atharvana Veda. Okay. And then Shuka also, his son, learned everything, and Mahabharata he taught everybody. And Vaishampayana was narrating Mahabharata, right? He was narrating Mahabharata at Janamejaya's sacrifice. Now let's look at what Vaishampayana says. Okay, continuing his explain his details of Mahabharata. Yesterday also we saw that we saw how Vyasa was born, and then today let's look at the main characters that's as described by Vaishampayana, who are all there in Mahabharata. Okay, the key characters, the key people. So Vaishampayana says, from Bhishma, one of the Vasus was born. Okay, born via King Shantanu and Ganga. So Shantanu, King Shantanu is the Kuru king. Okay. And from him and river Ganga, Bhishma was born. Bhishma was one of the Vasus. Okay. Vasus are one of the, there are Vasus are one of the deities. Okay. They are part of the 33 deities, main deities we worship. And then from Yama, okay, or Dharma, in a Shudra order, Vidura was born, okay, because of a curse from Rishi Mandavya. Yama had a curse from Rishi Mandavya that he will get a birth in Shudra order. That's where he was born. And then Karna was born with a natural coat and earrings. Okay, he was born from Kunti before her marriage. And then Vishnu himself was born as Krishna for Devaki, from Devaki and Vasudeva. Okay, and at this time, Vaishampana explains who is that born. Okay, that one who is born out of Devaki and Vasudeva is, he is the one who does not have birth or death. Okay, because he is the Paramatma. He is the creator of the universe. He is the Bhagavan. He is the deity of everybody. He is the God of gods. He is invisible to all, but he is visible to everybody. He is there everywhere, but he is not anywhere we will look for. Okay, he has no deterioration. He explains everything about Vishnu. Okay, there are about 4 or 5 shlokas on this. If we get time today, we will look at some of them. If not, I will send the shlokas and recording in WhatsApp so you can learn. Okay, these shlokas explaining Vishnu, who is born in Devaki and Vasudeva. Okay, Vishnu was born there. And then he says Satyaki and Kritavarma, 2 other people. Okay, they were born of Satyaka and Ridhika. Okay, in again to support Krishna, they were born Satyaki and Kritavarma. And then from Rishi Bharadwaja, Drona was born. And from Rishi Gautama, Kripacharya and Kripi were born. Okay, they were twins. They were born Kripacharya and Kripi. Kripi married Dronacharya. Okay, and they had a son. Drona and Kripi had a son called Ashwatthama. And then for Drupada, a king Drupada, Drishtadryumna was born out of a fire sacrifice. Okay, when he did a sacrifice, from that fire Drishtadryumna was born. He was born to kill Drona. And then Draupadi was also born from the same fire. Okay, so Drishtadryumna was elder, Draupadi was a sister. And then Drupada was also had a daughter called Shikandini. Okay, that Shikandini was later transformed into a male by a yaksha called Stuna. Okay, so Drupada had 3 children: Drishtadryumna, Draupadi, Shikandini. Okay, 3 children. And then you might have heard about Prahlada, okay, Hiranyakashipu's son. His student Nagnajit and Sulava were born, okay, in the kingdom of Gandhara. And Sulava had a son called Shakuni and also had a daughter called Gandhari. Okay, Shakuni and Gandhari were brother sisters. And here in Kuru Vamsha, Kaurava's family, we heard about Bhishma's birth. And then from Shantanu, we also have Vichitra Virya. Shantanu married Satyavati. We heard about Satyavati yesterday. Okay, from Satyavati and Shantanu, Vichitra Virya was born. And through Vyasa's blessing, he had 3 more children: Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. Vidura was born of a Shudra woman. I said in the just 5 minutes ago, Vidura was born in as a Dharma, Yama's form. Okay, he was born of Yama His Yama's incarnated as Vidura, but born in a Shudra woman. Okay. And then Dhritarashtra had 100 sons. Okay, Duryodhana, Dushyasana, Dusaha, Durmarshana, Vikarna, Chitrasena, like that. 100 sons. And he also had a daughter, Dushyala. And he also had another son called Yuyutsu. Okay, he had another son called Yuyutsu through a Vaishya woman. So he had total 101 sons and a daughter. Okay. And Pandu, who is brother of Dhritarashtra, had 5 children. They are Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, all of them born out of Kunti, and then Nakula and Sahadeva born through Madri. Okay, Yudhishthira was born with blessing of Yama, Bhima was through Vayu, Arjuna from Indra, and then Nakula and Sahadeva were born with blessings of Ashwin. Okay, so they all born out of blessings of deities. And then Abhimanyu was born of Subhadra. Subhadra is Krishna's sister. And Arjuna is his father, Abhimanyu's father. And Draupadi had 5 sons. Draupadi is Pandava's wife. Okay, we heard she is the daughter of Drupada. She is Pandava's wife. Had 5 sons. Pratidvindya, Sutsoma, Shrutakirti, Shatanika, and Shrutasena. They were born of Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva. Okay. And then Bhima also had a son called Ghatotkacha from Hidimba. So these are the kind of main characters in Mahabharata. Any questions at this stage? So let me share the other one second. So if you look here, hopefully you can see, where are we? So we started with Shantanu, right? I said Shantanu, right? Shantanu is here. Shantanu, through Ganga, Bhishma was born. And from Satyavati, there are 2 children, Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. Chitrangada died very early. Vichitravirya had Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. All of them were born through Vyasa's blessing, Krishna Dvaipayana, Vyasa's blessing. Okay, they were born through that. And then Dhritarashtra had 100 sons and a daughter, and also Yuyutsu, another son. Okay. Kunti, Pandu, through Kunti, his wife Kunti had Yudhishthira, Bhimasena, and Arjuna. Yudhishthira had Pratidvindya, Bhimasena had Sutsoma and Ghatotkacha, the main character. There are other children as well, but the main ones, Sutsoma and Ghatotkacha. Arjuna had Shrutakirti and Abhimanyu through Draupadi and Subhadra. Pandu's other wife was Madri. From Madri, Nakula and Sahadeva were born. And from Nakula, through Draupadi, Shatanika was born. And Sahadeva, through Draupadi, Shritakarman was born. Okay. So these are the kind of main characters here. And then we also had Drupada and others. We will find them later. Okay, so Drupada, as I said, had 3 children, Drishtadrumna, Draupadi, and Shikandi. Okay, so there are 3 children. And Drupada also had other children like Uttamajaza, Yudamanyu, Satyajit, and other things. But the main 3 were mentioned as Draupadi, Drishtadimna, and Shikandi. Okay. So those are main children. And Drishtadimna had 4 children on his own, and like that. So there are other things. And Dushyala, from Dhritarashtra's daughter Dushyala, married a king called Jayadratha. Again, we hear about Jayadratha a lot in the war. Okay. So this is the family tree. Any questions at this time, or shall I continue? The name is clear. Okay. Take that as yes. So then what Janamejaya, listening to this from Vaishampayana, asks one of Vaishampayana saying, you explained the main characters and all of them are great warriors. All of them are great warriors. What is the purpose? What is the objective of all of them being born on earth at the same time? Okay. Then Vaishampayana explains that in the Krita Yuga, okay, Krita Yuga, there are, I said, I think earlier this week or last week, I said there are 4 yugas. Krita. Anybody?
Satyayuga,
Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
Dwapara, Dwapara.
Yeah. Krita, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. Okay, 4 yugas. So in the Krita Yuga, what happened was, so Parashurama was born of Jamadagni. Okay, after his father was killed, Jamadagni was killed by a Kshatriya called Kartavira Arjuna. Parashurama makes a vow to exterminate, remove all the Kshatriyas from earth. Okay, he goes on a war and he kills all the Kshatriyas. He goes around earth 21 times hunting for Kshatriyas and removes all Kshatriya men from earth. Okay, because Kshatriyas at that time were behaving badly. They were not following the rules, the rights, whatever that's said in our scriptures. Parashurama, to restore this earth's balance, he comes and he kills all the Kshatriyas. 21 times he goes around earth. Okay, I think I said in the very beginning, I think second day when we talked about Samanta Panchaka, Parashurama killing all the Kshatriyas, and then 5 lakes formed out of it. And then from that 5 lakes, later were converted into pilgrimage sites, lakes, right? So Parashurama killed all the Kshatriyas, and then Kshatriya generation ended. There were no male men. Okay, so what did Kshatriya women? They took blessings from Brahmanas, and from them they had children. Okay, because they wanted to continue their generation. From Brahmanas, they had children, and those children were, because they were born of Brahmana, they were of great energy and high conduct. They were blessed with long life and they were very good in character and behavior and everything. Okay, at that time, all the 4 orders, because of that, all the 4 orders, okay, all the 4 varnas, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, okay, all that 4 varnas were re-established, and all of them were doing their duties with Brahmana as the head of those 4 orders, and that's how it should be. Okay, and that's what re-established. So what happens was, at that time, because of everything was happening, everyone following their duties virtuously, no one died of immature years. Indra was very happy with all the sacrifices and everything that was happening. Indra was showering, giving showers, rain at season when it requires, where it requires, he was giving rain. The rain was not happening when continuously a lot of heavy rain or there is no rain or things like that. It wasn't happening. It was raining perfectly fine so that people can grow and eat and live happily and do sacrifices and things like that. Kshatriyas performed a lot of sacrifices and they gave a lot of wealth to Brahmanas. Brahmanas also, they studied Vedas, they studied all the scriptures, Upanishads, Puranas and everything else. They spent time in learning and teaching. Okay, they never sold Vedas. Okay, this is important. So what selling Vedas mean? Does anyone know? They never sold Vedas. Brahmanas never sold Vedas. Anyone? It's okay if it's a guess. Anybody want to guess? Okay, so never sold selling Vedas. What Shastra says, if a Brahmana charges a fee for his teaching or for doing a puja or sacrifice or whatever, officiating a puja or sacrifice, whatever it is, then he is called, he is selling the Vedas. Okay, Brahmana should never do that. If a Brahmana says to perform this puja, I need 50 pounds. To do this, I need to teach you this shloka, I need 10 pounds. Or to join this class, you need to pay 5 pounds. All these things, that's not allowed. Okay, Brahmana should never sell Vedas. He should never sell those things. That's one thing. The second thing also, it says Brahmana never read aloud in the presence of Shudras. So again, some mantras things should never be heard by Shudras. That's why Brahmana should never read those things in the presence of Shudras. Okay, they never did that. And then we already heard about how Kshatriyas lived, and also Vaishyas here. They till the earth with the help of bulls, right? So they till the earth with the help of bulls and took care of their cattle, which were lean and weak, and they never milked too much of their cattle because they left milk, enough sufficient milk or more milk for the cows to drink. And they never sold on false scales. They never cheated when doing the when they were selling something, they never cheated on anything. Okay. And then we also had Shudras, the fourth order. Shudras also, they were serving the other three orders, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. They were in service of those three orders happily. Okay. And they were looked after by the other three orders. This is also important. Normally, what people say these days is Shudras were treated like slaves, okay, by Brahmanas and everyone else. Our Shastra says that, doesn't say that, okay. Shastra says Shudra's duty is to do service. At the same time, it is the duty of the Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya to look after the Shudras who do the service, the servants. Okay. So, for example, a Brahmana in his house, he should not take his food without feeding his servants. Only after he feeds his servants and they are happy, then only he can take his food. So, Brahmana can go hungry, but he should never let his servants go hungry. Okay. So, when someone does a service, there is that rules. These days it's all mixed up. Okay, it's all messed up, but the Shastras are very clear on this. There is no such thing as slavery. There is service. There is a duty one does. Coming back here, so they were also very happy. Okay, and it says that both cows and women, all these things gave birth at these proper times. Okay, and the trees bore fruits, flowers, everything in there according to their season. The Krita Yuga was the best. It was in best. Everything was good. Okay, in that time, everyone was happy. All the creatures were happy, not just humans. All the creatures were happy. Just like I said, cows, a lot of milk was left for the cows. Cows were happy, right? So everybody was happy. All the creatures were happy in Krita Yuga. Then what happened? Okay, then Asuras started taking birth. Daityas, if you remember, I said Daitya, Danava, Rakshasa, Asura, the differences. I think I said last week, right? So Daityas who are born of Diti and Danava who are born out of Danu, all of them, they had a lot of fights. Asuras had a lot of fights with Indra and other deities. They lost all of them. Once Skanda, Subramanya or Muruga was born of Shiva, he became commander of deities, and Indra and everyone got hold of Amrita, nectar after ocean churning. It became very difficult to defeat them. Okay, so that time what Asuras did was they started taking birth on earth. Okay, they started taking birth among Kshatriyas, the kingly order. Okay, they became kings and they had a lot of power, huge, great power, and they wanted complete control of the earth. They started taking birth in Kshatriyas, in all the other creatures. Okay, and among cows, horses, camels, buffaloes, everything, in all the creatures, all the shapes, elephants, everything, they started taking birth and started behaving badly. Okay, and they were rude and disrespectful behavior. They took great pride in what they were doing, which one should never do. And because of their power, they took control of the earth. Okay, they started suppressing the Brahmanas. They started suppressing the other Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudra, everything they started suppressing. And then they started terrifying all the other creatures who were behaving as per their duties. Okay, at that time, they also started inserting the rishis who were doing all the penance and sacrifices and everything. They started troubling them as well. So this, and because of that, what happened was Bhumi, earth, okay, she was worried. Okay, she could not hold on to these people. The reason is, again, if you are naughty, your moms feel very stressed, right? If you are very good, moms don't feel stressed. This is what happened here as well. Earth, when she when Krita Yuga was happening and a lot of good people were there, Earth was okay. Bhumi was she was fine. But when all these asuras took over, she felt very heavy to carry all these people, hold on to all these people. Okay. Then she went to Brahma and asked for help. Brahma understood all these things and he promised to help. What Brahma did was, Brahma asked all the deities to take birth in earth. Okay. And all the deities, Indra and all the other deities, Gandharvas, Apsaras, everybody decided to take birth on earth. And then Indra went to Vaikunta. He went to Vaikunta and he asked Narayana himself to take birth. Okay, incarnate on earth. And Narayana said, okay, I will take birth. Okay, so that's how all the deities, everybody came to earth. Okay, that's the background or the objective why all these people, great people, came to earth during this period. Okay, that's what Vaishampana explains to everyone. Any questions at this time? Yes, Tulsi, if you do this, I probably won't see normally. Okay, because I have to scroll down to see who is raising hand.
What happened when all the deities took birth on earth?
What?
What happened when all the deities took birth on earth?
Yeah, so all the deities I said earlier, right? So for example, okay, Indra, where did it go? Yeah, so here, Indra took birth as Arjuna, right? And Vayu, wind god, he took birth as Bhima. Okay, Yama himself took birth in the form of Yudhishthira. Like that, all of them took birth, and some others took birth. Agni took birth as Drishtadyumna. Okay, all these kind of things. So all of them took birth, and then they started fighting against those asuras. Vaishampana says they started fighting and then they defeated all those asuras who were on earth, and they removed all those asuras of people of bad behavior from earth. Okay, which is what Mahabharata is about. It is the Kauravas, Pandavas battle, war, and that war is a war between people born from deities and people born out of Rakshasa, Daityas, Danavas. Does that
Thank
answer?
you.
Okay. Yeah, Aryan.
Was Duryodhana Asur.
Yeah.
Okay.
All we will explain those later again, who is who and everything. It will explain Mahabharata a little bit later. Okay. Okay. Next, if that's okay, so let's quickly move to the other topic we were discussing yesterday. Second, let me open that. So we were looking at some conduct, right? How to behave and what is good and everything, right? Can I? Can you see now? I think we looked
Yeah.
at yesterday the worship, how to worship, right? Let's today look at some of the behavior one should have during eating. I can see somebody already eating. Okay, so what should one do? Okay, before it says, before anyone eats anything, one should wash 5 limbs. 5 limbs are 2 hands, feet, and face. One should wash before eating anything. Okay, and then eat silently. Okay, when eating, don't make a lot of noise. Right? Okay, no noise. And then it says turn towards east, east direction. One should eat turning towards east direction, facing east direction. Okay, at least if you can't turn to east every time, at least eat, wash your hands, feet, face before you eat. That's again from cleanliness point of view also, it's important. And the second one it says is never disparage the food and never doubt it. So if mommy cooks something, don't say I don't like this. Who does that? Right? Everyone. So never say that I don't want this, I don't like this, I don't want sambar. Right? No. Okay, we should never say that. Okay, whatever food we get, we should eat. Okay, never disparage. And then the next one is again probably not for you. It's ones who does the vratas and everything. So what it says is eating twice a day, morning and evening, and nothing in between. One should do that. Okay, no snacks, nothing in between, no chocolates, nothing. Okay, morning and evening, only 2 meals a day. If one does that, they will be getting the same benefits, merits as doing a fast. Okay, if continuously one does that, that's equivalent to fasting. Okay, only 2 meals a day without anything. And then it says the last one, I think Tulsi, this related to the question you asked yesterday and your brother. So flesh of goats, cows, peacock should never be eaten. Okay, and also it says dried flesh should be, or anything that's stale should be avoided, and one should never eat the flesh attached to the backbones. Okay, and also one should never eat any flesh meat that's of animals that's not slain or killed in a sacrifice. Okay, and then one should eat only the foods that's should not eat the foods that's forbidden in scriptures. So here the important thing, I think Tulsi yesterday you asked was, can we eat animal food, fresh meat and other things, right? So there is 2 parts here. One is in the olden days, in the other yugas, okay, there are references of people eating animal flesh, okay, that's killed and offered to deities in sacrifices. There is that evidence of eating that, but cows never. Okay, cows slaughter, killing of cows. So what our Shastra says is anyone who permits a cow slaughter, gives a cow for slaughtering, or kills it, who sells the meat, who buys that meat, who cooks it, serves it, or eats it, all of them will get a sin of killing a cow. Okay, so cow slaughter is never allowed. So there are other animals which are considered okay for eating, but they should be, before eating, they should be offered in a sacrifice. Okay, now Ruhika, can you please stay on mute? Okay, so they will never be eaten without offering in a sacrifice. Now, the important thing again is, I think I said this during when I was talking about the duties, is the duties change behaving depending on who you are, where you are, what you're doing, and things like that. Okay, so in Kali Yuga, there is one restriction which says that animal sacrifice should not be done. Okay, so what it's saying is, Shastras on one side, it's saying is meat can be eaten or animals' flesh can be eaten if it is slain in a sacrifice. But then it's saying animal sacrifice is not allowed in Kali Yuga. So we are in Kali Yuga, so we can't sacrifice animals during the homas or puja, whatever it is. We can't offer animal flesh. Okay, because we can't offer animal flesh, nobody can eat animal flesh. Okay, so in Kali Yuga, it's not allowed. There are practices in India where animals are killed as part of rituals, which is against the Shastras. Okay, there are animals killed in some places in India, but that's not in line with what the Shastras say. So in short, Tulsi, to answer your question, in Kali Yuga, flesh eating is not allowed. Eating animals is not allowed. Does that answer your question, yesterday's question?
But still some people eat animal flesh. How?
Yeah, people do things which is not said in the scriptures. Okay, that's a different story. Okay, I said that a lot of things in the here as well. Wash your hands, feet, face before you eat. Do you do that? Okay, yes, Tulsi is shaking head, very good. Okay, but not everyone does, right? There are a lot of things we don't do, either because we can't do or we don't do or whatever it is. Okay, and every act we do, we have merits or demerits of that, we have to experience it. Okay, that's called karma pala. Okay, so scriptures say that don't kill the animals in sacrifices, don't eat those fleshes in Kali Yuga. Okay, don't sacrifice in Kali Yuga. But if some people still do it, can't help. Okay, it's their, what they do is they are going to benefit or they're going to experience it, the fruits of that. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, any other questions? I think there are a few more on the eating and things. Any other questions? Tulsi, did I answer your question, yesterday's question, and Adi? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Who else? Okay. So there are a few more, but I think we are nearly out of time, so we'll cover them tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow is last session. So let's discuss tomorrow whether we do next week or not. And then also tomorrow I probably will go through some of this conduct and maybe a couple of shlokas. I said Vishnu and other things earlier. So we'll probably look at a couple of shlokas tomorrow. Okay. See you all tomorrow. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you.